tired of smoking batteries. And
it'd be so hard trying to figure out what do I want for lunch, knowing deep down I just want to vape. I just want my vape for lunch.
Doctors who've been helping me told me that in the past 6 months, I am like the third or fourth person that this has happened to. Around the same age, relatively young, but vaping.
You should always question that thing that just pops up out of nowhere. Like, it wasn't really existing before, but out of nowhere, everybody's on it. Everybody's using it. That's always the thing that you should question. See, growing up, I seen a lot of the nicotine commercials with the lady talking like this with the hole in the throat.
I had my first cigarette when I was 13. When I found out how bad it was, I tried to quit. But I couldn't. They say nicotine isn't addictive. How can they say that?
Isn't it crazy how they sell the poison to us and then later on sell the cure to the poison that they sold us? See, but Gen Z doesn't have a cigarette problem like they did back in the day. Every generation has its poison. The baby boomers had cigarettes, millennials had cheap alcohol and the club scene, but Gen Z got handed vapes, a colorful little device that come in fruity flavors and is sold to them as if it's harmless, to the point where the kids are doing it. And the crazy part about it is that cigarettes are slow killers. A lot of people will smoke for decades and maybe 30 years later they have cancer. But with these little vaping devices, we're seeing these kids gasping for air like they're 70 years old. Kids that are still in their teens or early 20s. Vaping hasn't even been around for a full decade yet. This isn't a down the road type of problem. This is a right now issue. And the truth is, vapes are killing Gen Z faster than cigarettes ever did.
I am a relatively healthy, young, 24-year-old dude, and my lung collapsed on me last Saturday. I have been vaping and smoking weed for over a decade, and it finally caught up on me, and I have learned my lesson. Let's do a flashback to last Saturday. I work my 8-hour shift, and my girlfriend comes to pick me up from work. I work at the mall, so we decided to go eat at the food court before we went out later that night. Before we go to the food court, we go to the car so I can hit my pen and hit my vape, and then go get some food. So I'm hitting my vape, and it causes me to cough, which is completely fucking normal, right? But then I immediately start feeling a horrible, horrible searing pain in the back of both of my shoulder blades. So I thought maybe I just coughed really hard and pulled something. That's happened before. So I carry on like normal, and we walk back to the mall. But very rapidly, the pain is just increasing and increasing and increasing to the point where every muscle in my back is tensing up on me. They're seizing up. I feel it wrapping around the front of my ribs to under my chest, and it gets pretty scary. So we walk through the first store we entered, and I find a little cushioned area for sitting, and I proceeded to pass out, full body pass out for like 20 seconds. I eventually came to, the sweatiest I've ever been, the palest I've ever been, even paler than I am now, and my girlfriend weighs significantly less than me. So that was a pretty scary scenario. I barely make it back to the car. I'm like borderline yelling in pain, and at this point I thought like, what, did I slip a disc or something? What the fuck is happening? We eventually call an ambulance. They get there in about 40 minutes, and it takes me maybe another 30 minutes to get to the hospital, and then another 45 to an hour before I actually got a room. I was just burning in a hallway. So if this all sounds fun to you, by all means keep vaping, but you should probably stick around. I eventually get a x-ray, and I'm told that my left lung has collapsed. It is deflated, and I also have air trapped between my lung and my chest plate. So all of that is obviously not good. They take a scalpel and they cut between my ribs, they cut the skin and the muscle, and then they feed a tube through the hole to wrap around my lung to suck the air out of my chest cavity and to also reinflate my lung. I was hooked up to that tube for about 4 days. It just came out last night. Not only that, but I have gotten countless IVs put into me. Every 30 minutes, every night, I'm being checked up on my oxygen, my temperature, my heart rate. Really fun stuff. What really made me want to make this video is the team of nurses and doctors who've been helping me told me that in the past 6 months, I am like the third or fourth person that this has happened to. Around the same age, relatively young, but vaping.
In no way, shape, or form am I promoting people to be out here smoking cigarettes. But at least in the cigarette commercials or the cigarette videos of people saying how they sick, those people are usually kind of older. These are young dudes. He is 24 years old with a collapsed lung and a possibility of his lung collapsing again. That is crazy. But to understand this epidemic, we gotta rewind. When the Juul dropped around 2015, it wasn't marketed like a cigarette. It was basically a little USB device. It looked like one of those little flash flash drives from back in the day. It wasn't promoted like, here's some nicotine that's gonna kill you eventually. Nah, they promoted it more as a healthier alternative instead of smoking cigarettes. But let's be real, there's nothing safe about inhaling smoke from a USB device. Each of the little jewel pods had as much nicotine as a full pack of cigarettes. Think about that. One little pod in one pack of cigarettes. That's a lot. And the bad part about it is you could hit a vape all day. You can hit a vape inside the building. You can hit a vape and nobody's gonna say anything about the smell. You can hit a vape just to hit a vape. In order to smoke, you gotta step outside. You gotta go for a smoke break. People are hitting these vapes way more than people ever hit cigarettes in the past. So that's just constant nicotine just pumping into your body, just constantly. And the craziest part about all this, they didn't target the 50-year-olds. They didn't target the older people. Instead, they went straight for Gen Z. Oh, come and get the cotton candy kind. Blue raz, mango, grape ice. They literally disguised poison as candy, and these kids are eating it up.
It'd be so hard trying to figure out what do I want for lunch, knowing deep down I just want to vape. I just want my vape for lunch. That's what I want, and I don't have it on me because I'm trying to be healthy, but that's all I want. I don't want no food. I want a vape for lunch. That's what I want.
Not for nothing, I'm tired of these fucking vapes. Like, it's getting old. I'm tired of smoking batteries. And every time I lose that motherfucker, I just be like, where the fuck is my vape? Sister, calm down. It's giving fiend behavior. Anybody have any tips for quitting vaping or something? Cause like, I'm tired of this shit.
I can't help but to think about the fact that doctors used to say that if you smoke for 30 to 40 years, you might wind up lung cancer. But now we are looking at 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 25-year-olds, that their lungs are literally collapsing. Teens are hooked up to ventilators, fighting for their life, all because they're doing something that honestly is just trendy. It's something that everybody else is doing, kind of just like the little Beyblades that we used to play with when we were kids. Like, it's just something that's trendy, so everybody wants to do it. Everybody starts doing it, now you catch yourself addicted to it. It's not something that you gotta meet somebody in the alley to go buy it either. You could walk into a store, and if you're not old enough to walk into the store, you could send somebody else to go get it. Yo, you could grab me one of these real quick. It's not that hard for them to get their hands on these vapes. They also don't understand the effects of these vapes. It just seems like a cool thing to do for the pastime, just like social media. And let me just be clear, the science that I've seen doesn't just say that vaping, it doesn't just irritate your lungs to the point where you're like, ooh, that feels kind of weird. No, the chemicals will permanently scar your lungs. Some of y'all are gonna have to live with reduced breathing for the rest of your life if you keep hitting that little small pink device. And ladies, not that one, the other one. And the addiction to vapes might even be stronger than cigarettes, because it's seeming like y'all cannot stop, because it feels so harmless versus a cigarette. From the moment you hit a cigarette, you know you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. But with the vapes, because they're fruity, because they just look like a little toy device, it's so accessible. 2,000 hits in one device. You'll be addicted to it before you even notice.
Vaping is not as harmful as cigarettes on paper, but because the odor is not as offensive, it's easier to hide. You could do it much quicker and get a bigger dose. Because it feels like it's not as harmful, many more people can get hooked on it.
Is vaping dangerous?
Yes.
Why and how? So many of my friends vape. I think three out of my 6 best friends, they're just like, they're just absolutely addicted. And they never smoked, interestingly.
That's the issue of it, that it gets people who maybe would have been turned off by smoking to try, and the chemicals found inside are really rewarding to the brain, nicotine being a prime example of it. And the more dangerous part of it is with kids who have a developing frontal lobe, meaning that the part of their brain that is responsible for complex decision making is not yet fully formed. So they're incredibly susceptible to anything that can build a tolerance, a dependence, an addiction to. And it could change the chemistry of their brain moving forward. So we don't want to make it easier for them to start smoking. Vaping should be used as a tool, as a way of getting you off of cigarettes, not as a way of introducing you to cigarettes or nicotine at all.
Is it dangerous for adults as well?
If you're coming off cigarettes, no, it's a good choice.
All my friends that vape never smoked.
Yep, it's not something that carries value health-wise and can only potentially harm.
Ever wondered what vaping actually does to your body? Because it's not just water vapor like everyone says. Let's start with your lungs. When you take a puff, you're inhaling a cloud filled with chemicals like nicotine, formaldehyde, and even heavy metals. Those particles go straight into your lungs and start irritating the lining. Over time, this can lead to coughing, shortness of breath, wheezing, and in some cases, long-term lung damage. And yes, popcorn lung is real. Now your heart, vaping hits it too. The nicotine makes your heart beat faster and raises your blood pressure. Over time, that puts a serious strain on your heart, raising your risk of a heart attack, even if you're young. Your brain isn't safe either, especially if you're under 25. The brain is still developing, and nicotine can mess with memory, focus, and mood. You might feel more anxious, more irritable, and more addicted than you realize. Vaping can also mess with your sleep, your hormones, your gut, and even your skin. Ever notice dry lips or more acne? That's not random. It could be your vape. And here's the twist. The more you vape, the more your body builds tolerance. That means you need more hits to feel the same effect. And that's how addiction sneaks in without you even noticing.
See, as somebody that doesn't vape or ever had to go through the withdrawals or quitting vaping, I can't tell y'all directly how to quit vaping. But what I can tell you from just a psychological standpoint, go to the root cause. Why are you vaping? Always ask yourself the why and why you are doing something, especially if you feel the need to do it to the point where you're questioning whether or not you're an addict. What is the reason? Are you escaping something or are you chasing something? You're doing one or the other, and then ask the why on why are you doing that. Once you figure out that why, now ask yourself, is there another way I can get this feeling by doing something that is healthy for myself? Or is there something I need to heal from mentally instead of coping underneath this device? Is there a better way that I can handle situations or high stress and my lungs don't have to take a hit? But I think somebody that has actually vaped can give y'all even better advice.
Some simple advice for day one when you quit vaping. Day one, start on a clean slate. Don't pick a day where you've already vaped in the morning, or you're going to be dealing with nicotine cravings all day long, more than you have to be. Tip number 2, when you first wake up in the morning, be sure to drink a bunch of cold water. You want to get hydrated right away, and you want to start a new habit outside of waking up and hitting your vape. Tip number 3, get right to exercise. Do yoga, do cardio, lift weights. Exercise releases dopamine, and we have to replace that dopamine hit with something different in the morning. The best thing to do is exercise. Tip number 3, after you work out, focus on eating protein and fruit. Fruit is going to give you blood sugar spikes. A lot of people, when they quit vaping, suffer from low blood sugar because nicotine increases blood sugar. By eating fruit, you spike your blood sugar and you help to fight the fatigue and the brain fog that are going to be likely withdrawal symptoms of quitting vaping. Tip number 4. As the day goes on, immediately begin getting busy. This can be cleaning your house, cleaning your room, cleaning your car, or going to work. But find an activity and dive into it all day long. Tip number 5, try and avoid taking a nap. A lot of people suffer from insomnia in the first few days when they quit, and napping is only going to make that insomnia worse. The first 3 days when you quit vaping, we want to try everything you can to wear yourself down so you get a good night's sleep. Tip number 6, don't eat a big dinner in the first few days of quitting. If you shove your pie hole full of food, chances are that's going to lead to a higher increase of constipation, feeling of fullness, and a potential reason to wind up relapsing. Tip number 7, before bed, take a shower. This could be a hot shower or a cold shower, but do something to help you relax. Tip number 8, when the nighttime rolls around on day 1 and you've accomplished all these things throughout the day and your brain is telling you you deserve a reward, you deserve nicotine, dive right into a new hobby. This can be reading a book, it can be making music, it can be coloring. For me, it turned into editing TikTok videos and YouTube videos. But find a new hobby, something that you can do during the evening hours, and train your brain to crave partaking in that hobby versus partaking in a hit of nicotine. Bonus tip, quit on a day where you didn't consume alcohol the day before. Alcohol ruins deep sleep And if you don't get a good night's sleep prior to quitting, quitting's going to be harder.
So there you have it, y'all. Stop vaping. Put the vapes down. Y'all know I'm all about self-development on my channel. And in order for us to become the best us, we got to look deep into all the vices that we have, all of the habits that we have, and ask ourselves the why. Why do we feel the need to do this thing, even though we know there's a downside to it? How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're addicted to that vice and you can't put that down, you don't have the self-control to put that down, you will not have the self-control you need in order to reach the next level. It takes a new you to enter that new phase of your life that you want to go to. So anyways, y'all, I'm actually fighting COVID-19 right now, me, my wife, and my son now. So pray for us right now. I'm gonna still be pushing out these videos because, like I said, my surgery is next week. So there's a lot going on right now, but your boy is pushing through. All right, guys? I want you guys to send this video to somebody that you know that vapes. Also, if you want to promote this video and have it boosted up in the algorithm for other people, hit that like. Well, first you have to be subscribed. So hit the subscribe button, then hit the like button, and you'll see a hype button. The hype button helps YouTube know what videos need to be pushed out to a bigger audience. So the more people that hit that hype button, the further this video can go. All right. So hit that like button, subscribe button, turn on my post notifications and all that good stuff, y'all. It's been your boy Ty Boogie. I'm out of here.